Welcome back to Active Minds Podcasts, where we seek to explore and learn through the perspective of people who are paving their own lane. We have a little fun, we brainstorm, talk a little shit, and see how their experiences help us grow and move smarter. Danny, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Catriel C. Sarfati, if you haven't seen me for like the 30th time already. And today we're going to be going over a few things. Specifically, we're going to be going over the whole idea of social media through the lens of mental health. Now, not to get boring, this is not going to be documentary style. Realistically, we're going to approach this from a little bit of a different perspective. So Hudson, for example, you have approached social media to see it for what it is. You've approached it in a way that makes you money, makes your collaborators money, your business is money, but also you also happen to be someone who doesn't even use social media for yourself. Now, we're also going to have a little fun too, because Danny comes from an industry that is all about people. And then I'm going to be the resident asshole because I've been a growth hacker. And my entire job for years, as I joked with her before, is to basically make people ascribe their self-worth to the shit that they buy. So let's get right into it. Danny, I want to start with you. Ladies first.
Okay.
The first thing that you brought up was escapism. And then definitely I want to dig in a little bit more with you. Escapism is something right now that is so easy. Like if you look at, if I just swipe right, you can see your screen time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Swipe right on yours.
Oh God, I'm scared.
Swipe right on yours.
Oh, man.
You can't.
Let's see. What's your screen time?
I can't see it.
You can't see it? Oh, you bastard.
I think mine's like 10 hours a day.
So, I mean, obviously you're doing work from your phone and all that stuff like that. But escapism is something, obviously we can joke around about the metrics, but the metrics show, and they leave clues. What is the reason that you think escapism is so just easy right now?
Well, it's at a touch of a fingertip. You can go into a different world, the metaverse, social media, Instagram, TikTok. It's giving people a platform to say whatever they want without having to look at somebody in the eye and have a human interaction. So it's really easy to escape through that.
That almost sounds creepy a little bit. You can talk shit and just scurry off. You deal with this all the time. This literally is your bread and butter, man. Not to make light of it, but like you're the people that you work with. For example, you mentioned content creators. They're building their audiences. You're finding ways for them to obviously monetize their efforts.
Of course.
How do you think escapism is helping them?
See, I think, for us, for people going on social media, what happens is it's a massive dopamine hit. And a lot of people will not want to work and do the day-to-day things because they can, like you said, a touch of fingertips, you can go onto your phone and you can be in 1,000 different places, look at every single country, look at anybody you want to find. And what happens is you start to get that addictive process. They say your phone is more addictive than like cocaine, right? So the thing for us is like we constantly we constantly get on it, and we're looking for these dopamine hits. And I think for people who are going to be on it anyways, why not capitalize? Why not capitalize on building your own brand, building your self business through social media? And that's what we've noticed a lot of. Like TikTok, when it first came out, everyone thought it was a dancing app. Everybody was, oh my gosh, like everyone's just dancing. I don't want to get on that. I'm too old to get on that. And now you see it
That's
has
exactly what I thought, actually.
TikTok. Yeah.
Oh, are you on TikTok?
No. I was like, that's for the kids.
I don't have a TikTok account either, but
you don't have any account, dude.
TikTok has more searches than Google.
Yes, it's become the new search engine.
Yeah. And if you think about that, that's crazy.
How are ways that you feel you monetize off of, people's insecurities on social media? Let's just get right into it.
You know what it is? I think, any business that I've started, I look to solve a problem. Like for instance, one of my companies, Purely White Deluxe, we are an oral cosmetics brand that sells a wide range of teeth whitening products. Everyone has teeth for the most part. When you see everybody using this product having white teeth, it's almost like creating a FOMO. People feel like they're missing out on something. Why is everybody using this product? How can I get white teeth too? So I think reaching millions of people in a week or millions of people in a month and being able to showcase a product that's working for so many people, I think that's one of the ways that we've been able to capitalize on social media. Just reaching millions of people with touch of fingertips. It's such an important thing to understand now because it's not going anywhere.
What are some ways you get to that reach? on social media?
My brand right now is the most recognized brand in the world on Snapchat.
Okay.
We also have, I think over 200 million views on TikTok. What we've been able to do is work with creators, and not just work with creators. It's a family at the end of the day. Like, I have 750 content creators that work across all my brands. Every single one of them I know and have a great relationship with them. And the whole goal and everything that we've been doing is to really just keep it to, like putting it into a lifestyle. They're using the product as a lifestyle now. It's an everyday thing. It's everything that we're doing.
Relatable.
And we're making it extremely relatable for people. And I think that that's what is catching on. And that's what we've been able to, do on all these platforms.
So there's a little bit of conditioning in there.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you know what it is, when you work with them every single week, it becomes a habit. If you do things 21 times, you build it into a habit, and we've just built a habit around the promotions and the constant reach through our brand with the same creators. We recycle. We are not working with different people every single day. We want people to be able to see the creator and say, oh, they work with such and such brand. Not like they've worked with us once and it's a one-off. We did try one-offs. It is a very hard way to build trust through customers.
That's true. That is ever true. So I don't know if you've heard of it or not. Ivan Pavlov's theory.
I have, but you can definitely help me out with that one.
What comes to mind is you said it's like when we did a one-off. So if you were to work with collaborator X and collaborator X does like one or maybe even two with you folks, sure, maybe. But if you were to get that same collaborator or content creator and do say 9, 10 into a session, you're now taking advantage. Or let me rephrase that because that's not fair. You're basically conditioning the person. So with Ivan Pavlov, what he did is what he's known for, even though he's not the first one to do it, is he rang a bell and then he would give the dog a treat. And then eventually he would just ring the bell and the dog would expect the treat, so it would salivate. But it took some time to get there. And that's what I kind of hear in my head when I hear of, okay, this person's going to put out 7, 9, 11 pieces of content out there to eventually get to the point where it's just like a knee-jerk reaction.
Like second nature.
Exactly.
And that's what, that's what we're trying to do. And you know what it is? It's very lucrative. So right now, there's over 2 million content creators making over 6 figures a year. Okay?
That's pretty fucking awesome.
That's
it.
It's
a whole new economy.
It's if you think about 2 million people, like if we were to look outside and see 2 million people, and all of those people are making over $100,000 a year by posting stuff that they like to post. We've been able to see, like, if it's lucrative and it's easy and it's seamless, people are more willing to do it. There's a lot of brands right now that have content creators sticking to a very specific script, and a lot of it is so, you can tell it's an ad. You can tell it's so scripted, and a lot of the time it takes away their personality from the promotion, and people notice that, and then they don't want to really deal with it.
Do you think so? Because I feel like we've been a bit conditioned to, the grand majority of people have been conditioned to like a certain type of photo, right? The Instagram filters, the way that girls are supposed to look nowadays. We're all supposed to have the same little face.
Yes.
So how do you feel that plays into your brand and how you market things?
We don't use filters because if we did, it wouldn't be the legitimate results for their teeth actually being white, right? When it comes to my other brand, Comfort, then filters are fair play because, if they like a certain filter and they're wearing the hoodie or they're wearing the sweatpants, so be it, right? But I think, I think that we try to take away from that, and I know that we're going down that road where everyone feels like they have to look a certain way, and that goes back to what social media has done. A lot of people are not comfortable in their own skin, and one of the ways that we've been trying to, go against the grain is by making sure that everyone is doing what they want to be doing. We don't have a script. They can say whatever they want. We don't have anybody promote for the company unless they actually use the products. These are things that we've been trying to do to combat, just everyone trying to look the same and be the same and act the same and talk the same, and that's one of the ways that we've done it.
So if you're watching this, a way to stand out is to be authentic
yourself,
and that comes up a lot on this podcast.
It's weird though, because like when you hear that, like I guess because of the work that some of us have done, you hear companies or people say, I want to be more authentic, and that sounds weird.
Does it?
It does.
It's like, why aren't you authentic?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
because
what have you been doing this whole time?
We're being conditioned by filters and by, not getting instant gratification on Instagram to not be authentic. Because sometimes when we are authentic and you put yourself out there and then you don't get the reward you get, you're not going to be as upset if you weren't being yourself, right? Because if you were being yourself and you were really being authentic, that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to want to do that again. And that's when the conditioning comes into play.
Yeah.
And that's when we start becoming...
So the reward systems.
Right.
Yeah, the reward systems or the incentives are definitely there. Like, I mean, you work with nothing but content creators. I'm pretty sure you see through getting to know them, you know, you don't have to name names, but like, I'm pretty sure that you've met a few content creators where the likes matter so much to them.
I mean, think about what Instagram just did. They turned off likes. You
Yeah.
can say, and
The
others.
sky is falling.
Yeah, and others. Because a lot of people, they post a photo that they really love, but maybe they're so used to posting, whether it's girls posting photos in bikinis or
Right.
guys posting photos shirtless at the gym. Maybe that is why they're getting majority of the followers. And when they post a photo of them and their dog and no one's liking it, they feel like, why am I even posting this? But then that takes away the fun for them.
Right.
Now they're not posting what they love. And now social media is no longer fun.
Right.
And we go down that road. So taking out the likes, showing other, no one's, I mean, maybe some people are scrolling through to see how many people liked it, but I
Yeah.
mean,
You
who's
have to really
yeah, who's
care.
really doing that, right? And
If you're doing that, stop it.
yeah, don't do that.
You're
Stop
upset.
it. Get
guys,
help.
don't do that.
I was like, why?
You know, and then
So
others, you
sensitive?
can limit comments.
Yeah.
You can limit.
You can
know,
hide comments.
You can
Yeah.
hide comments.
Yeah.
You could do so many things now to kind of bring back.
It's funny you say that. One of my my homies, whenever she posts her husband, she gets like no likes. She
Oh
posts
my God.
she can post like her
Unfollowed.
fingernails. It's like 6,000 likes. She posts her and her man. It's like 13 likes.
Yeah.
So that definitely
That's discouraging.
conditions. her to stop.
Ironically, you mentioned that you're not big on social media, and why have you chosen to take yourself out of the matrix? Obviously, you see something.
The
something
Matrix,
wrong there.
mira.
Ooh,
Hello.
that was good.
Well, no, okay.
When
We
so-
we went there. We went there.
starts a little earlier on when I was building my brands. I was looking at everybody else who was doing what I was looking to do. The bigger companies in my space before we were where we are now, and I would see what the CEO was driving, how much money he made, what platforms and channel partners he had, where he was selling, and me being in my mom's house in my bedroom on the computer trying to figure out how to build this brand, shipping from my basement. I was like, if I keep looking at what these people are doing, and of course there's motivation to this, but if I keep looking and I'm looking at things that I don't have, all I'm putting out to the world is that I don't have it. And that's creating a negative aura around what I'm really looking to do, which is to build my brand. And for me, I post, I get off. I post a couple stories, I get off. Instagram is the only platform that I use.
Yeah.
You know, when people see that I'm the owner of XYZ brand, you know, they want to see that I'm a successful person, right? Because on Instagram, we base everybody off of what car they drive, what house they have, who their friends are. And unfortunately, we do have to play a little bit into that to have people say, okay, they're the real deal. For me, I don't want to go through my explore page. I don't follow anybody. I really don't do much. You know, if I want to have a little bit of fun, I'll watch Family Guy memes and I'll get off my phone for the day and I'll have, like I said, a couple dopamine hits and I'll get off. I don't want to get sucked into that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see everybody else posting only the good things about their life because my life isn't great 100% of the time.
Right.
There's things that happen in my life that I have to, you know, go through, and I'm sure everybody else does too. But they don't want to show that, and we create a false reality. And you know, I don't think that it's really healthy to be on every day.
There's two sides of the coin there because, you know, in a conversation her and I
Say
had
that,
before,
yeah.
is there's the intake with no filter of opinions and likes, for
Yeah.
example. Because
Yep.
I actually asked her, like, why do the likes matter? Not her specifically, but just in general. And then you have the other one. So you have one where you care too much, and you have another where you just care too little.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but in your case, obviously in the business world, you need some social proof
Correct.
Yeah.
to get the buy-in. So you kind of have to like find that middle balance. In your line of work, what does that look like for people who are in, you know, doing what you're doing? How much does social media matter?
Oh, it's everything.
But why do the likes matter?
Well, I didn't say that the likes mattered. I think that it's mattering less and less. Honestly, because of the feature, and it just becomes a trend, like everything, you know, like, oh, we care, we don't care, we don't care. The less I'm finding in this generation,
That
the
part
less,
though is like it almost feels like they're pretending
the
not
less
to care.
the less you care in this generation, it seems to be like the better, you know. But
Correct.
And then, but at the same token, these people are like, I feel like it's becoming more and more of like showing that you care on Instagram, but then those same people are not the same people that are going to call a friend and see if they're in need. So it's a lot for the clout. It's a lot for, you know, how you're perceived on Instagram to be a caring person and this. So then it starts creating this fake facade that you're a good person, and maybe and not a good person or a person that cares when you really don't. You know, you just takes one like on Instagram.
That sounds like a trap. in
And
of
going
itself.
further in that, you know, it takes away from a human experience, because you think that
Yeah.
because you liked that person's photo or because you wrote them a comment that you showed them that you care, when really a phone call or, you know, going out to lunch with that person is really a way to show love.
You're
But
asking for too
now
much.
the expectation is changing. Like, it's like, oh, that's considered love. That's considered, like, my
Yes.
my kids are going to think that that's love, where my definition of love is that. So now we're having an issue between generations.
And think about this too. Look at how many people record giving money and food to homeless people.
Exactly. Do you?
If you were trying to do it to just do it, why would you record it?
These likes, though.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, it's a great gesture and you're
Yeah.
helping the person. But, like, why does everything always have to be recorded for it to? Yeah, I think it's for them to feel like they're doing the right thing, and they wouldn't feel that as much if no one was watching.
Right.
And I think that's pretty
And
bizarre.
then going further on that, that person probably, if there's no camera on them and then there was something actually going down, they'd probably be on their phone and not even paying attention to what was going on. You know, or seeing the next opportunity to record themselves. Instead of, you know, walking on the beach and seeing a piece of plastic and actually picking it up because you wanted to, because the ocean is beautiful and you care.
Correct.
So they're prioritizing the validation.
Validation. We're in a generation of validation.
That's definitely leaving a big open gap for opportunists to take advantage of people who have addictive personalities. And it's wild how many people don't realize they have addictive personalities. Everyone has their vice, but in terms of addictive personalities, it's like, I need that hit. Like you said, that you got the dopamine rush and you move along.
Yeah.
Well, there's other people that cannot do that because they're obviously trying to feel something.
And that's the thing, they can't. Well, this is what they say, right? So you get the dopamine hit, and we've all felt this, right? We get it, we're like, wow, you know, like we're so excited to go on our phone in the morning
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I wake up, you know, I take 30 minutes before I even touch my phone. I meditate, I'll pray, whatever it is. I'll take a walk outside, I'll get some sunlight. Even sunlight on the eyes for 10 minutes is so it is so important to your overall day. So then I go on my phone, I look at some stuff, I'll go through, and then all of a sudden, like, as we're on the social media, you'll feel, right, like we're almost like, why are we still here? Why are we still on our phone? Why are we still looking? It doesn't even feel good anymore.
Right.
It's dopamine overload.
Yeah.
And then we're like trying to figure out how to like combat that and still feel the same emotion, which is still feel good when we're on it.
It almost reminds me of Adderall. Like when you take too much Adderall, and like the people who have, like, they've done studies on this, like people who
Yeah.
take it after
Yeah.
a while, they become immune to it, and it no longer has the same effect on them anymore. So they have to take 2, and then 3, and before you know it. You know?
And then at a certain point, like, you'll be desensitized to real life, because it's not digital. And it's just, you're probably not inclined to talk to people anymore because,
Yeah.
you just turn to your phone.
But this comes back to the whole idea of reward systems. Like, we can actually flesh that out a little bit because reward systems plays out with the content creators, with their audiences that they've fostered a good relationship with the things that are being sold, but also with the self-worth thing. So, like, if we were to change the incentive right now, we snap our fingers, and the incentives of getting likes was bad, what would Instagram turn into? The more likes you get, the worse your profile is. What do you think would happen tomorrow?
Oh man.
They'll be posting some really crazy
That's what
shit.
I think the whole not care notion would be even more. I think people
Yeah.
would post whatever they want at that point.
Yeah.
I think they wouldn't care all the stuff they were posting, they probably wouldn't post as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably would post more natural and organic things that
Yeah.
they were going to post either way, but they weren't going to get the likes.
That sounds amazing, though. That kind of sounds. There's an app called. Have you heard of an app called Be Real?
Yeah,
Yes.
I heard of it.
That's what you just described, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of like, hey, literally, I think one of them, the prompts I saw the other day was like, take a picture of like of your walk or something, some shit like
Yeah.
that. It was like super not fancy, no filter. By the way, they don't allow any filters.
No.
Yeah.
It's just straight up like what Instagram used to be.
And it makes you take a photo. I think within like 2 minutes.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they're like, snap whatever you're doing right now. I always happen to be in the bathroom, so I'm like, I can't do it, but
oh, you're gonna get banned, dude.
yeah, no, I know, man. I see some crazy stuff on that, but I mean, hey, there's the concept, right? Like we talk about it, but someone really like went in and they keened in on that and they figured out a way to make it fun for people.
Yeah, I was actually telling her that a lot of these algorithms, a common nomenclature for it is honeypots. Because it's just like you can't get enough. Like you just keep going in there over and over. Like you said, why am I even here anymore?
Right.
But then when you really look at the reality of like there's something called the customer journey that you can literally follow. Like they see here, then they follow here, then their habits gonna send them there, etc. Like the incentives are there, and reality is the pattern of their behavior.
Well, you were
It's
saying
predictable.
also that they give us just like the 5%, you know, like little bit, and so that you get a little bit off, but not too off, just so you can like be addicted. And that's the science behind it. And how messed up is that? We're like rabbits, hamsters on a wheel.
I know.
Just like validation.
How did you avoid that?
validation.
I just knew what it was doing to me.
Yeah.
Like being on social media, I knew that like I was focusing more on what other people were doing than what I was doing. And I was like, I don't want to be like that. I want to build out what I have to build out. I want to
So you would say you're very self-aware.
yeah, you know what it is, but it's not like it just happens. It's not like you just
Exactly. Like you made a choice, obviously.
Yeah, like it's not a lot of people.
What was your incentive to not do that?
I you know, when I was I had a very rough childhood, and you know, being through what I went through, I knew what I wanted. I knew that I had to have all these things that were constantly in my dreams, or I would see a car and I was like, that's going to be mine. Like I felt like I was supposed to be this person, and the only way for me to get there was to cut out all the noise, put on the blinders. Utilize things for what they're supposed to be utilized for. I used to model when I was younger, and I learned very quickly that was not going to be my future.
Right.
I wanted to be the person that hired the models, not the model.
Now you are.
And yeah, now I am. And also it's like, you know, I don't, and that's not bashing people who are modeling.
No, of
How many
course.
people are models and they come out with their own brands
Yeah.
and they are incredibly successful. Everybody it's a vehicle, right? Like we go from A to B, from B to C, and that's just the key to life, is like taking these vehicles to where they need to be. It's everything is necessary to an extent.
How have your
Go ahead. 'Cause
how
I want
have
to ask you
your
something.
values changed from when you were younger to now? Would you say?
It sounds like so cliche, but
Yeah.
like the money isn't what it's all made out to be,
Right.
because we don't get this time back. My grandmother is in hospice right now. She's going to pass probably within the next couple weeks.
so sorry.
How long? How can I be with her? How can I, you know? And then when she does pass, that feeling is like, for all the love that I was not able to show her, that feeling in your stomach. I want to spend time with my family. I sat in my mother's house with my brothers, and we would sit in the kitchen and we talk, and we're like, there's going to be a day very soon where we don't all live in the same house anymore. And a couple months later, we didn't. And you have to cherish those times. We're so focused. There's an actual video. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's a person running, following a dollar, and they're running and running
Yes,
and
I've
running.
seen
And
it.
then he
They're
turns into a skeleton and he falls in the grave, and the
Yeah.
money falls in with
posted
him.
that.
Yeah.
That is something that I don't want to be. I want to cherish this life for what it is now. And I think that if we focus too much on certain things, whether it's social,
Like social media.
or money or whatever it is, we get so caught up in the matrix, right? And we're forgetting about what really matters: our family, you know, our loved ones, you know, experiencing the world, traveling. And when you start to get those dopamine hits in those places and see how that makes you feel, you notice the drastic difference, and you're like, I'd rather have this, you know?
And then it goes even further on the traveling thing, because people are just sometimes even traveling just so they can post it on social media.
Yeah.
Bendito, that influencer. There's an influencer that got like.
Or save it and then post it a year later and act like you're
be
there.
like, I'm here right now. Like, we're all guilty of it, right? Like, you know.
Some people have gotten into like debt just to take pictures.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Like that's crazy. So there was an influencer that got on a I forgot what magazine or whatever the hell article. She went like $13,000, $15,000 into debt just to live like an influencer, to be an influencer.
Yeah.
That's hustling backwards, dude.
Yeah.
There's a lot more people than just her, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But you touched on something that I kind of wanted to circle back. You started to say, but not to say that modeling's bad. It kind of brings something else to mind. Is when her and I were talking about that human-to-human communication and interaction gives us nuance, gives us context. But because everything is faceless, even you saying, like, there's a funny tweet I saw like a while ago. It was like, oh, if you could post like, I love waffles, and like somebody would be like, oh, what are you saying about pancakes? What are you saying
Yeah.
about, you know, French toast sticks? And it's funny because I understand why you prefaced it with like, not to discredit models.
Yeah.
But like even that nuance, the nuances seems to be eroding. Like you could put up, I love oranges, and all of a sudden the Apple committee shows up
Oh, that's such
on
a,
some like cancel that fucker.
that's
He
Yeah.
hates
such a,
oranges.
that is such a rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah, that's a whole.
I mean, we could
other thing, Patrol. That's
scratch
like a
the
whole
surface. We
other
can scratch the
thing.
It's
surface.
yeah, you know what it is, like we look at the cancel culture.
Yeah.
Look at everything going on.
I've been
people
canceled
are-
like 6 times.
People,
dude. I'm alive.
People are, and that's another reason. So I don't want to use social media. People are afraid to voice their opinions.
Yeah.
But
The unpopular opinion.
Oh yeah, but hold
But
on.
even, like-
On social media, all you do is voice your opinion.
Yeah, the popular one.
Yeah.
So you can get likes
And
and votes.
99% of the time, it's not how they really feel.
Yeah.
We just,
The beatings will continue to morale improve.
It's conformity.
Yeah.
How are we
Conditioning.
How are we going to conform to what everyone else is doing and make sure that we're on the same path as everyone else? So if we go outside, everyone's going to look at them. Oh, I can't believe you did that. So why don't we just all stay on the same path? No one's going to question anything, and we'll all do whatever we're supposed to be doing.
But that goes back to the incentives. Why does it? I'm being very brutally open here, and then why? And I asked this, and she knows why I'm asking. Why does it matter? Like, what's wrong with
So
ruffling
people-
a little? You know, we're New Yorkers here, right?
People go
We're
through-
used to being abrasive. We're an acquired taste. You either love us or you hate us. But how many times have you introduced yourself as a New Yorker and be like, I hate you? But I love New York.
I have an answer.
You do.
There's
Hit
nothing
me.
wrong with
Hit me.
there's nothing wrong with ruffling a little bit of feathers as long as it's authentic.
Oh, okay.
You know what
I'm
I mean?
with
Like
you.
if you're authentic, if that's your really true opinion,
Mm-hmm.
then ruffle it. You know, you're gonna get some sort of response. You're gonna get to a conclusion, and you're gonna have an honest reaction and an honest communication,
Okay.
and then from there breeds authenticity. So that's why I don't think there's anything wrong with
I
it.
respect that. I can respect that.
I think there's a couple different types of people, and one of the people that we encounter a lot is they need to be liked by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Those are a lot of the people that are not going to veer off and ever really share how they feel.
Right.
There, you know, and not to get into it, but there's someone right now who we all know just got banned from social media who who has ruffled
I don't know.
What color is your Bugatti?
a ton of feathers. And you know what it is? It's like, how do you look at the grand scale that this guy pulled off? I mean, everybody knows. I mean, my great aunt was like, "Do you know who Andrew Tate is?" I'm
My
like, "How do
12-year knew who he
I was like,
was.
"You don't even have you don't even have social media." She's like, "I know, but I heard about."
Wow.
How do you get to that? And I mean, yeah, talk about ruffling feathers. I mean, but then again, there's things that just should not be said,
Of course.
right?
True.
Everyone can agree with that. I don't care if you're trying to be the person that no one agrees with. There are things you should not say. But in the same breath, it's like, you know, we can share our opinions. And we should be able to be authentic within ourselves.
We're gonna turn into robots
Yeah.
if we don't start sharing our opinions.
It's like imagine
guys.
it's like the
Getting
Trump Biden thing. It's like you talk about Biden to a Trump supporter, and it's
Oh,
like they
God.
don't even
Yeah.
no one even but like vice versa. No one even hears
And vice
you.
versa, yeah, that's true.
No one even hears you, but like the person in the middle is like, I understand both sides.
Yeah.
There's barely any of those people.
No, well there are,
know?
but they just won't say it, because God forbid, you know.
Yeah,
Like,
God forbid you understood both sides of the spectrum.
God forbid,
Yeah,
you know. So
Context and nuance.
there we go.
Holy shit. There is something to what both of you have said here that I noticed, like, even when it comes to problem solving, there's a little bit of a detachment. Like, almost like you use the 30,000, foot view above, the bird's eye view, you said, actually.
yeah, I was like 30 minutes.
Yeah, the bird's eye view, sorry. There is something in terms of, for example, you have your self-awareness. When she's analyzing things, she does that thing too, where she could take a bird's eye view. If we were to take a bird's eye view right now to what we can actually do here personally, because, I mean, if you're watching, you can't control what you do. You're going to do what you're going to do. But, like, if we're detaching...
New York, you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
It comes out
Sorry.
sometimes. It's like saying coffee. You can't get rid of coffee.
Dollars, coffee.
When you look at it, like, what are some things that right now that we can practice looking at approaching life the way it is, not the way we want it to be? What can we do after this conversation to improve how we approach social media?
You want to start with that?
Well, I mean,
she's
take
ready.
a page out of your book, just detachment style, like
Yeah.
detach a little bit, put time restrictions on yourself,
Yes.
try being more authentic, see what kind of audience you get from that. And
What would be an example of authenticity?
not
Because
use-
a lot of like gurus love that buzzword.
all right.
Be authentic.
Not using a filter. Posting that pimple you have. Who cares? Like maybe just sharing something that happened to you that day that was kind of shitty and how you got through it.
Okay.
Asking your audience real questions that are not popular. Just posting a caption that's not like,
A Drake quote.
a Drake quote, or a Bad Bunny quote. Something a little bit
How
deeper.
dare you.
Get deeper, and then from there, maybe you'll make more authentic friends or more authentic followers. And if you don't, like,
Yep, I know.
whatever.
Yup.
Yep.
Yup. Yo, you filter out so many people and you do that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Fucking thank you. What about you, man? I know you got some good shit.
So I think it's finding happiness, right? Finding your happy place. So I go up to my lake house in the Adirondacks, which is in New York. A lot of people, for you guys watching who don't know what the Adirondacks is, it's beautiful. You should go there. I go up there, and I still have to work every day, but I'm able to, whether it's snowboarding in the winter or skiing or, going ice fishing or whatever it is, try to find what really makes you happy, right? So like I shoot my bow and arrow at archery targets, and I love that. For whatever reason, it calms me. Nice. Same thing as like going on the boat, going in the mountains, taking a hike, finding a place that genuinely makes you so happy that you think about it every single second that you're not there. And that's something that I like to do to get away from the rat race, the constant wheel spinning of what we're doing. Like, how do we get out of that? How do we disengage? Find those happy things. Take a walk. Like they say it's really good to take a 10-minute.
I just did that before the podcast. I was feeling a little stuck. I went for a walk, and I was like, let's go.
They say after every meal, take a 10-minute walk, and it really helps with insulin and this and that. And I was like, okay, let me use that as a reason for me to go walk after every meal and put my phone inside and get off my phone. And if I do that 3 times a day, that's 30 minutes that I'm not on my phone, that I'm able to just think about what I want to think about, and who do I want to see, what friend haven't I seen in a couple months because we've both been so busy. How can I think about the things that I really love? Because we forget and we lose sight very quickly of what we want when we're constantly seeing, okay, like there's something that we say all the time is like we give up on the things that we want most for what we want now, right?
Hedonic treadmill.
How do we not give up on what we want most?
Whoa. Wait. If you're watching this and enjoying it, press pause for a second. Go to activemindsclub.com. Again, activemindsclub.com.
Here you will have membership access to our exclusive networking events, as well as behind-the-scene access to our guests where you yourself can ask them questions.
Not to mention, at these events and in the community, you're going to have access to the very mentors that are here sitting with us, as well as many, many more that are doing cool things in stocks, marketing, cars, real estate, where we're going to have you have access to education, insights, how-tos, all things that you can apply to your life and business. That's wild when you say it that way, like out loud, right? Because we hear it, we've heard it in many different ways. I'm like a broken record now, hedonic treadmill, but it's almost like that taking this vitamin is good for you, but you choose not to take it because maybe the taste ain't that great or something like that. The fact that you're going out for walks, and when you're talking about authenticity, it almost sounds like, if I'm hearing both of you, what I'm hearing is go for walks, go hiking, basically do all the shit that the Instagram influencers videotape themselves doing, but don't take your phone.
Videotape it.
But don't take your phone, and then when you come back from doing said activity, maybe that's what you talk about. Go take yourselves to the movies by yourself. Go enjoy a meal by yourself. I mean, I know I do that sometimes. That shit is awesome. I just started
enjoying that.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's funny when you sit there I'm having the time of my life. Somebody's like, "Just you?" Yeah, it's just me.
I ordered all this. Don't judge me.
Yeah. But have you ever heard of the term status games?
Yes.
So from what you know so far, what is your opinion or maybe your perception of status games? Give
me a little bit of insight on that, because I've heard different things about it. I don't know what the actual.
So you did talk briefly about cancel culture, right? Yeah. So obviously we can go so many ways with that. But specifically, one of the things with status games is where, for example, if whatever the current trending thing is, that's what I care about. And I'm going to do that because it's going to get me likes. It might even get me follows. It might, I'm going to call it what it is. It's the Sean King effect is what I call it. Just going to do whatever the fuck people want to hear at the moment so I can be popular and loved and everybody can think that I'm an empathetic human being. Yeah, I said it. When it comes to that, they're prioritizing the likes, the affection, the rah crap, right? But the thing with that is that it only lasts for so long. All it takes is one slip up and you go from hero to zero, right? So that right now is what's driving the majority of everything from media to social media, because social media literally is us. We might sit here and bash CNN or Fox News, but we are CNN and Fox News. They're only giving us what we're reacting to. So back to status games, based on what your opinion and your perspective and experiences look like, where are status games today, and where can we take it?
See, I mean, like, to start, I feel like it really depends on what you do for a living, right? Like, let's start from the beginning. Like, if you're a content creator, social media influencer, you know, like what, like you want to catch those trends because you want to constantly stay relevant. A lot of the time what is being posted is not necessarily what the belief is of the person who's posting it, or whether they even want to do it to begin with. Like, you know, even the NFT craze, how many people like were like ready to drop out of college to like learn how to like buy an NFT?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like really like, it's a little crazy when you think about it. And I think actually as time goes on, the trends are going to become less and less potent. I think people will start to actually veer away from them. I speak to content creators all the time, and they say that social media has gotten boring.
Yeah.
It's boring.
When everything's a big deal, nothing's a big deal.
We need something new. We need something that's more authentic, that's not as generic anymore.
Oh.
How do we, how do we do that, right? And I think that people just need to stop caring as much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Just
dude.
stop caring as much. But you know what
Stop
it is? though?
caring, but
This
then
is
also don't be like, don't stop
Don't be
caring
emo
about the
about
real
it,
people.
like, God.
This is the
Care
thing,
about
like,
real life.
And we say like
Yeah.
90% of the content absorbed by Gen Z is from creators, not corporations. So we know, like, they control the narrative. If they want to decide that posting whatever the heck they want is cool, and everyone starts doing it, they're going to follow suit.
That's true.
We absorb our favorite creators, our favorite athletes, singers, songwriters, so be it. And we look at the things that they do in their life and how can we implement it to ours? How can we be as close as possible to our favorite celebrity? How can we get the same clothing as them, the same this as them, the same that as them? If they start posting the most authentic part of themselves and it's so relatable on a global grand scale, I think that's going to give a lot of people that being normal, right, and doing normal things is what everybody's doing. It's not like you take a magic pill as a celebrity and like everything you do is not like a day-to-day life as someone else has. We all do a lot of the same things. We all eat meals. We all, we all do all these things. Like post that. Post like vlog yourself in a way so people can understand like, hey, we're more similar than I thought.
Yeah. Lead by example.
Makes people feel better too. Like that takes a lot away from like, the judging of yourself and judging what other people are doing and criticizing and like you tell yourself these things constantly over and over and over again. The mind is the most powerful thing that we have. Everything is created twice, once in your mind and once in the real world. Everything we look at right now is created in someone's mind at one point, and they made it happen, right? They made it a physical object. And I think for us, like, that's so important to remember. If we tell ourselves all these things, we start to hate ourselves. We start to forget who we are. And all of a sudden, we are robots. We're just trying to figure out how to just get through every single day.
Right.
Mental health is the most important it's ever been right now.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's
Drop
bringing
mic.
to mind. And that's it.
That was a little deep. But
for
anyways,
tuning in.
yeah.
It brings to mind the whole concept of us blaming social media, even though we are social media. Number one.
I
Number
know.
two.
When you said that to me, I was like, oh, that's right. I forgot.
I mean, it's all user-generated content. They literally just like opened up a store and said, "Have at it."
Yeah.
We did what we did, and they were like, "Look how ghetto it is in here." Like it's us. It's literally our doing, and it's almost like we've ascribed this godlike status to social media, inadvertently. Our own creator. We're the creator who's fallen in love with our creation, to the point where it now controls us. And ironically, what I love about you, what we're saying, and I say ironically because the conversation started off with maybe not that great, your approach is definitely stemming more in the idea of how can we be more accountable? How can we take accountability for how we use social media?
Yeah.
Which I hope you, as you're reviewing, is taking this because, social media is you. Society is you. We could sit here and talk crap about everything, Joe Biden, Obama, Trump, it doesn't matter. It's literally our doing. And a lot of stuff, if we don't like it, we should probably revisit what the hell we're contributing to it. We're only getting what we want to keep getting. Like, that's why there's silos. Even with, like, I'm pretty sure if I open up your Instagram, I'm going to see a very different feed from mine.
Definitely.
Yep. I put not interested on everything.
Oh, you can do that. How do
Leave me
you do
alone.
that?
You just click the three dots and you scroll and you click not interested, and then it will stop showing you that content.
I did not know
So
that. So
do that,
that's
guys,
good to know,
because
yeah.
I get off a lot of that stuff. And if you watch it, even if it's controversial, they show it more and more and more and more.
Wow.
And if you don't click that you're not interested or you don't support or whatever it is, then they're going to keep showing it. And that's another thing that
That is very true.
I think a lot of people should do.
Oh, I'm doing it. For sure.
And that is one of the benefits of detaching.
Yeah.
And just
Bird's
looking
eye.
at it looking at it for what it is, not what you want it to be. Like, yeah, we can go on and on about that. Because, like, for example, I was actually telling her, like, one of the things that when we look at social media, or even if we're doing a SaaS platform, right? If we were to look at it for what it is, it's a SaaS, software as a service. The total addressable market. Software as a service platform is basically software that does a thing that you basically have inputs and it outputs what you want out of it. When we're looking at social media and honeypot algorithms, the total addressable market, the TAM, that actually has the fastest growth is the insecure, the anxious, and those with low self-worth. That is literally what drives. And if we were tomorrow to work, I'm not going to say what social media were, but I did a really cool gig a few years ago, and basically that was a TAM. I'm not even making it up. That's literally our TAM. They're like, how can we 3X this? Oh, that's right. Go for the insecure, the anxious, and then those with low self-worth.
So it's against you.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's against you. It's you're kind of against yourself.
That's so...
Yeah, you're kind of doing it to yourself.
That's literally what's happening. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those are the people that are searching.
And, well, like he said it right now, is like, if you're not clicking not interested and you're having a reaction, like, one of the easiest hacks, like, because, being a growth hacker, when you're doing content, if you want to get more engagement, just misspell a word or two. That's like something
people
that
are gonna want to correct you.
Oh yeah, it's one of the easiest ways to boost engagement. Yes, like you mean blank.
Yeah.
It's one of the easiest ways to do it, or you'll like misstate a fact. Basically, give someone the opportunity to correct you, and that's it. Your engagement is through the fucking roof.
Mm-hmm.
So even that's a nudge. You've heard of nudge theory before?
No.
Okay, have you ever had... Okay, so for example, when you work with content creators, what are some of the things you've explored to boost engagement?
I think one of the major things is like we talked about, no script. Be yourself, because then it won't look like it's a promotion. It will just look like it's an everyday thing. Because the thing is, even though it is a promotion, they're still doing it even when the camera's off. So just do it how you normally do it, but just explain to someone as if you're explaining it to your best friend what the product does, how does it work, why do you like it, and post. And I think that will help with the engagement. I mean, how many clickbaity things have we seen? You know, like I mean, it's I don't really think that it's going to give what we're looking for if we're not trying to make whatever the promotion is the primary focus, whatever you're wearing, whatever you're doing. We want people to really understand what are we talking about and what's the goal here. And that's what we've seen, which is huge for us. And I know it sounds like such a simple fix, but like how many ads do we see? And you talked about it, like we're kind of programmed now to understand what the ads are. But I mean, how many, you ever read the comments on like a sponsored ad?
Yeah.
Everyone's always talking bad about the ad or about the product. And there's like a select few when they make it funny or they make it very genuine. That people are genuinely like, wow, like this was the best ad I've seen in a while. Yeah. We work with this content creator, Two Turnt Tony. He's huge on TikTok. He's one of the biggest creators on TikTok. And he does these funny videos with his mom and his dad for our company, and they get 5-10 million views, and all of the comments are positive, like this is the best ad I've ever seen in my life. And when I send people, I mean, this guy he's very niche, you know, his fans they're so loyal to him, but you just can tell, like when it hits a For You page, they're not people who are following you, so they're going and reading and then they're commenting how great they liked it too. But I can guarantee you, if it was flipped and everyone was saying how much they hated it, those people would probably just follow suit. Say that they hate it too, even though they really liked it and they thought it was funny.
Don't be a sheep.
Yeah, because sheep want to be led.
Well, on that topic, I definitely agree. I echo your sentiment where personal brands are superseding, corporate brands. Would love to, if you indulge me. So, what is a brand that comes to mind right now that you see ads of everywhere? Corporate brand.
Oh man, come on! I don't follow anything like that.
I'm sure you.
That's another thing. It's so different.
Yeah, like I don't see anything like that. I don't know what you're talking about.
What's a brand out there that's huge that you maybe have seen a commercial of in the last year?
A brand that in TV or
like Gap, Old Navy, Ford, Coca-Cola.
I pay for all my shit. I don't see commercials.
You pay for your shit? You pay for Instagram. But basically the idea is like if you're looking at a brand right now that could possibly take more of the approach of the niche or the personal brand, what is a brand right now that you think would benefit the most?
I mean, I even think in my sphere, like if Colgate or Crest could really tap into, they have so many, they're in every store ever. They're not really necessarily worried about the same things that we are, but you know, they do a lot of promotions for new products that they come out with. If they were to come out tomorrow and start working with creators and to start really making things more organic, I think they would have a lot more. I mean, everyone knows what they are. Like I just said it. I didn't ask if you guys knew what it was because we used it growing up.
Yeah.
Those brands, not even Crest and Colgate. I mean, anybody. I mean, I get ads for, like, as a man, we get Manscaped ads all the time. I mean, they're a conglomerate of a company now, and they've taken a very different approach. No one has. They've reinvented the wheel in what, you know, like really manscaping is. We say Manscaped, and then it became a company. Like, you know, those are the brands that, like, everyone knows about them. If they decided to take that plan of action, and they do that right now, but these other big brands, they're not. And I think that they're missing out on a lot of potential of making people understand what it really is.
That's true, because if you look at, like, let's say Norelco. If Norelco had taken a similar approach, they would have been Manscaped. Instead,
and I don't even know who they are.
Exactly.
I was going to shake my head to just go with it, but I really don't even know who they are.
They're $1 billion company.
Crazy.
So, is there anything, you know, I know we talked a lot about social media, but, you know, as we wrap things up, is there anything that you're excited about or that you want to share or that you want to celebrate in your life at the moment?
I think we should celebrate every day. Celebrate life, right? We're just so happy to be here. Wake up being grateful and understand that, you know, you're blessed to be able to, I'm blessed to be able to walk in this room and have a conversation with you guys. And if we can start to utilize that as the goal, right? Like not looking at everything else and just keeping to our, you know, to ourselves and understanding, hey, listen, I'm so grateful. Wake up every day and just tell yourself thank you 1,000 times and watch the smile on your face. You know, just, you know, do those things and it will really help with your overall well-being. For me, you know, we just launched Comfort, which is a comfortable clothing brand that utilizes certain fabrics and a little bit of a weightedness to the hoodie to help with people with anxiety and stress relief.
Oh, wow.
You know, we're trying to think a little bit outside the box and not just be a generic, you know, clothing brand and to kind of do something different. My company, Purely White Deluxe, is right now the only Plus partner on Target in the world, which is pretty exciting.
Nice.
And we're launching in Macy's next week. So
Congratulations.
should be pretty cool. And, you know, those are like slight little things I like to just take off myself and talk about other things. But yeah, that's exciting for me.
Congratulations,
man.
man.
No, I'm so happy that you guys had me. Honestly, really great conversation.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being open to it.
Yeah, of
and
course.
It's a pleasure to hear your input.
So as we
Congrats.
wrap things up, some finer points from what Hudson is sharing from his experience and his perspective. So the first thing we immediately went into is social media. You're watching us on social media. More importantly, it's about perfect practices, or at least healthier practices. So the very first thing is that social media is user-generated content. It is literally fed by what we give it. It does not exist unless we give it something. That's number one. We then get into a little bit of the validation. What is the incentive for doing a thing on social media? Is it a like? Is it a follow? Is validation and so on? Basically is revisit. Take a little bit of a detachment period and look at why you're on social media. What are you looking to get out of it? Maybe it's just mindless entertainment. Maybe it's getting those likes. Whatever the case might be, is focus on what you're prioritizing, because that is basically how social media is going to reciprocate. Okay, so that's number one. Then after that, we immediately got into the whole idea of like his entire job is based around connecting with people. And ironically, with more of the faceless entertainment, there's a lack of a human interaction and communication. So we're losing things like nuance and context, which is basically, you know, a weird twist, sadistic twist, is literally feeding more of you seeing more polarizing things that are going to incentivize you to have a reaction, emotional reaction at that, by the way. Then after that, we get a little bit into the whole idea of the nuance is based on your authenticity. So your authenticity is based on your self-worth. So if you ever feel like burnout, or if you ever feel like detached or a little bit like lost or fog, it's usually, I mean, not to get all philosophical there, it's usually you're not aligning right there. You're like, what you're feeling and what your actual beliefs are not really what you're doing. Essentially, you're tap dancing for likes. You're paying for claps with your time, your energy. I don't know how much longer you can keep that sort of thing up. And I mean, let's also face it. A lot of the times, with certain players in certain spaces, it's a lot easier to monetize people who are vulnerable, low self-worth, anxious. I mean, right now, over 80% of Americans have signs and symptoms of long-lasting depression.
Yeah.
Not even a bad episode, literally long-lasting chronic depression, insomnia. What a perfect audience to sell shit to, no? So take that in consideration in terms of how you use it, because at the end of the day, social media is not the enemy. It's literally your creation. So please keep that in mind. I want to give a huge thanks to Hands Free Automation and Vegan Gummies for keeping this machine running, keeping these conversations going with people like Hudson. Huge shout out to Hudson for getting into Target. He's about to be in Macy's.
Amazing.
You've got a good thing going.
Awesome.
And I definitely look forward to see more of the collaborations that you're going to do with these content creators, because if it's anything like these conversations, it kind of seems like the people you're going to work with and what you're going to be doing is going to not only help us look good and feel good,
Yeah.
but also simultaneously put a little bit more of what we're talking into the ecosystem.
100%.
All right. Dude, if I know she asked you, but I'm going to ask you a different question to wrap things up. In the last year, what is something that you are really grateful and proud of?
Really, really grateful and proud of just remaining true to myself, remaining, keeping my morals, not changing with success. You know, they say like when you make money or whatever, like, you know, you change to this or that, like, and you actually notice people who do change when they start to get the things that they want. Staying yourself, it actually makes you happier. When you stay the same and well, not the same, but if you stay true and you're constantly growing, I think that's one of the things. I try to implement good habits every
You have
day.
your principles that you stick to.
Building good habits, taking away the things that were hurting you. I was like addicted to Fortnite at one point. Like I had to get off the video game. I was like, I could be doing this and this with my time. Let me do this now. And I think that those things, even though they're funny and they're minute sometimes, when you add them all up, there's a huge picture to that. And it's just looking in the mirror, knowing who you are, and then understanding, hey, you know, if I could implement all these things on a daily basis, how much better is my quality of life going to be?
There we go.
And that's something that I've been really trying to focus on. So, yeah.
Any closing thoughts from you?
No, just.
What's
think
something
you've
that we
wrapped it
can
up.
all do that you think from this conversation we can all take away from?
I think we can all take away from the fact that we essentially are all leaders, and we all have the opportunity to lead and to lead by example. So within that it's in your hands. You know, you can take with this and do something. It's not like there's nothing you could do about it. So try to be authentic. I know it's scary, but it's only helping our society and our world as a whole.
Get it? Got it? Good. This has been Active Minds Podcast, where we seek to learn and explore through the perspective and lens of those that are paving their own lane. As you already saw, we talked a lot of shit, so we can see how we can learn something from this. And last but not least, let's move smarter together. And see you next time.
So guys, as we're wrapping up, we want to remind you that we have our membership program now available on ActiveMindsClub.com.
ActiveMindsClub.com. Grab yourself a seat. See you there.